I got my plan.
Did you? Yes. How about you?
Hang it, water. Well, I don't know yet. Hi.
No. It's no good. Would you want that next door to your house? What is new? There's a house right next door.
Color of the day.
You know what that is?
That was years ago. There's another
But
one.
you know what it means?
But it was never
It
zoned.
is the birthstone.
We changed that zoning. They can put whatever they want.
Each month has a birthstone. Some have two, and some have three. And this one actually has three.
I don't think either. So, John will be here, so you can talk to him probably.
We'll get a few out.
So is there a lot of police, one in the front, one in the back?
She started it. She did.
Yeah, I was at coffee with Tony and I said something about it. City council today.
Maybe like a 16th or something like that.
I never didn't have my iPad all last week, so I didn't get the email. And Katie's goes, can you make an appointment? I thought she was calling.
She didn't say anything.
No, she's a couple of minutes. I'm thinking, oh.
So when she asked that,
How are you? Good.
said,
Pastor?
Pass the bag.
wait till they start coughing.
Yes, he's coughing already.
One word last night.
Order a small?
Here, Pastor Curtis.
I'm just kidding.
Phoenix.
At this time, I'll call to order the City of Joliet, June 5th, City Council meeting 2018. The Honorable Mayor Robert Odekirk presiding. We will open with an invocation from Pastor Darius Thomas Curtis of Brown Chapel AME, Church of Joliet, over at 1502 East Mills Road. Following the invocation, the pastor will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance as well. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you. Shall we pray? Kind Father, loving Mother, come to you this evening with grateful hearts, with praise on our lips. We thank you for every good and perfect gift indeed comes from above. We thank you that you have called us and allowed us and graced us to serve in various capacities. Thank you, oh God, for empowering us to serve as servant leaders. Now we ask in your darling Son, Jesus' name, that you would be with the city of Joliet, be with our mayor, Mayor Odekirk, be with our police chief, be with our fire chief, be with our first responders, be with our council members, oh God. We ask in the name of the Lord Jesus that you, oh God, would bless us and grace us with everything that we need. And Father, since we have your attention, we ask that you would bless the less fortunate. We lift up every child to you this summer who may not have enough to eat. We lift up every senior citizen to you who may not have enough to make ends meet. We lift up those, oh God, that are suffering with mental illness and other manner of disease. And we ask that you would indeed perfect those things that concern them. And we ask that you would bless every business owner, even those businesses that are coming to the city of Joliet. Bless them with all that they need so that they might function and provide not just a service, but also provide jobs in this great community. And Lord, we ask once again that you would bless us with peace that surpasses all understanding. Allow the spirit of love and unity to overtake this city. It's in Jesus Christ's name we do pray with thanksgiving and belief. Let the people of God say, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much.
Kind
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll begin with roll call. Mayor Odekirk.
Here.
Councilman Dickinson.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman Morris. Absent. Councilman Mudrin.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First on the agenda under mayor's appointments. The appointments, none this evening. Next is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
Motion to approve.
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
I will approve the consent agenda, except I will be abstaining from, letter B, the authorization to approve a settlement agreement due to a conflict.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Motion carried. Citizens to be heard on agenda items. Is there anyone present that would like to speak on an agenda item this evening? Seeing none. Council committee reports. First is CTIS committee report.
We gave our report last night. It's at the pre-council meeting, so. Anybody have any questions about anything?
I want to hear the whole thing again.
Delete.
Diversity and community relations.
Yes, Your Honor, the Diversity and Community Relations Committee met May 29th here in the chamber at 4 p.m. Present was our committee members, Councilwoman Quillman and Councilman Morris. Sir, we heard a presentation and a request from Cornell Darden of the ABA, the African American Business Association. They came before us, this committee, with a request of the city to do a disparity study. We sort of talked through their request, and we decided, staff was also present, and we will, staff will research the firms and the cost of such a study and report back to the committee. And I believe that we will have another follow-up meeting as soon as staff gets us some information on that. And sir, that is the end of my report.
Thank you.
Public Safety Committee report.
Yes, Your Honor. The Public Safety Committee met this evening in the conference room. The Public Safety Committee consists of myself, Councilman Hug, and Councilman Dickinson. There were a plethora of items actually on the agenda, but there's two items that we're actually going to be taking action here on today, and those are the two that I'll discuss. On our council memo 297-18, we had an intergovernmental agreement with the Joliet Park District to provide services for the Taste of Joliet, with the Joliet Police Department, I should say, and council memo 306-18, which is a request to purchase a fire engine using community block grant funds. The fire engine is approximately $605,000, but it's only we're gonna use community block grant funds for everything with the exception of $127,593. The vehicle that it's replacing is, I believe, 22 or 23 years old, and that's where the need is arising from. And again, that's Council Memo 306-18. Those are the two items that we're actually taking action on today.
Any questions? Thank you.
Public Service Committee report.
The Public Service Committee met today here in the council executive chambers. In attendance and on the committee is Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman Dickinson, and myself, as well as to use your word, Councilman, a plethora of city staff. We do have quite a few that show up. Generally, it was the award of contracts and change orders of existing contracts for road works and sewer and water works. Just a couple of the highlights. If you're not aware of it, the old State's Attorney building is gone. It's down. And so on here are three items that address tying up the loose ends of the demolition, including closing down the pedestrian walkway and doing some repairs to the wall it once connected to. All of those expenditures, just to let everybody know, will be reimbursed by the county. So that was part of the agreement when we took the building. So, you know, it's not costing us anything out of our budget, but it's still coming from the taxes from the county. And we want to welcome George Goussis, who will be running the pastry, if you will, or the breakfast nook at the Gateway Center. A lot of people know of him. He came to the meeting. There you go. He came to the meeting to thank the city, and he's here again he was at the committee meeting. And we all know by reputation how we ran Route 66 for all those years. I don't think there's anybody in this room that didn't eat there more than once, you know, so it was very good. They run a great show, great ship. We did determine that he's going to have a breakfast sandwich that's going to be a glazed donut with a chocolate donut in the middle and a glazed donut underneath it, and he's gonna call it the Dickinson. We determined that at the meeting today. So.
The Dickinson. Is there a duck in between there?
I'm sorry?
Is there a duck in between those two?
There you go. And it's interesting little tidbit is they're not gonna be sending employees to wait on the folks that are guests in our city, both from the city and outside. They will be doing it themselves, him and his wife, Valentina, which is also here today. That was the highlights of the meeting. Everything else is on the agenda. All items were unanimously recommended for approval to this full city council and will be voted on later in the meeting. That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Stadium committee report.
Stadium committee met June 4th. On the committee is Councilwoman Jan Quillman and Councilman Mike Turk. We have one item that is on the agenda tonight. Staff member Mike Ulitz made a presentation for a permanent pavilion at a cost of approximately $48,000. City staff will be erecting this with oversight from the Joliet Park District, who has put up similar pavilions at a number of those facilities. And it's on the agenda tonight.
One point. I got, we had a request a couple weeks ago from the Miracle League about the conditions of the bathrooms out in left field. I want to thank Mike Ulitz and his staff. They got right out and did a terrific job. And then also, I've heard nothing but compliments about the new turf. I'm wondering on the committee, have you guys gotten the same feedback?
Exactly the same feedback.
Heather was at the meeting also. We asked her how it's gone over with the other teams as well as the fans there, and everybody has been very happy with the results of this.
Thank you.
I think the other night it was a pretty good downpour of rain right before the game. I think it rained throughout the game. I think Councilman Dickinson was there selling his donuts. And they were able to play through the whole game, and not a problem.
Thank you.
I show no other reports. Under consent agenda, approval of the minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on May 14th, 2018, and the minutes of the council meeting held on May 15th, 2018 stand approved as recorded. Authorization to approve settlement agreement 10 MR 0165. It's recommended this agreement be approved. In council memo 287-18 position vacancies. It's recommended the city manager be authorized to fill one police patrol officer position, one communications director in the police department, one utilities clerk in the roadways division, and one utility billing and collection manager in the finance department, and any resulting subsequent vacancies which may occur. Is there a motion to approve said consent agenda items?
So moved.
Second.
A motion is seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 289-18, approval to hold a carnival June 22nd through June 24th, 2018 at Joliet Memorial Stadium, Taste of Joliet. It's recommended this permit be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
I just wish I knew how Councilman Turk was gonna vote on this carnival. Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Yes.
Just to clarify on that consent agenda, to make sure that that was a abstained vote.
You abstained on
Okay.
item B.
Thank you.
There's no public hearings this evening. Under ordinances, Council Memo 291-18, ordinances regarding 701 Plainfield Road. This includes an ordinance approving or a resolution denying a variation of use to allow a B3 use in a B1 district, and an ordinance approving or a resolution denying a special use permit to allow an auto, tire, and repair facility in an existing building located at 701 Plainfield Road.
I'll move to deny.
Mayor, if I could just make a brief request, I talked to Councilman Morris. He's on the way from business in Indiana to the meeting. If I could request the council just passes to the end of the meeting when I know he'll be present to consider the matter.
It needs more than a majority vote because it was denied by the zoning board, is that correct?
Well, he's a councilman and he would like to vote on the matter. That's all that I know.
I don't have a problem, this was an objection. No, we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Mayor,
we'll,
just so you're aware, it is actually, they would still need 6 votes whether he's here or not, so his vote is, you know.
Okay.
so we'll defer Council Memo 291-18 till after the amendments, change orders, and payments.
Does my motion stand?
I think you can reintroduce it at
Okay.
the end of the agenda.
Council Memo 292-18, an ordinance approving or resolution denying a variation of use to allow the continuation of a 2-unit and R3 use in an R2 zoning district located at 613 North Williams Street. The petitioner is recommending this item be tabled to the June 19th council meeting.
So moved.
Motion to table.
Second?
Been motioned and seconded to table Council Memo 292-18 to the June 19th council meeting. Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman?
No.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson? Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Motion carried 6-1. Council Memo 293-18 is an ordinance approving a First Amendment to a special use permit to increase the height of an existing cellular tower by an additional 18 feet located at 1630 Essington Road. It's recommended said ordinance be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 295-18 is a resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds in the amount of $432,557.30 for the Juniper Street, Richmond Street roadway project to PT Farrow Construction Company. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 296-18, a resolution approving a lease agreement for the food and beverage space at the Gateway Center train station with John Jorgosis for $500 a month. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
If only you put a slice of bacon on top of duck sandwich. Aye. Okay, on the donut, a slice of bacon, that'll work. Okay.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Thank you for providing a home for the Dickinson. Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 297-18, a resolution authorizing execution of an intergovernmental cooperation agreement between the City of Joliet and the Joliet Park District, Taste of Joliet. It's recommended said resolution be adopted.
So, second?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Dickinson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin? Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under bids and contracts, award of contracts, Council Memo 299-18, amend the 2018 budget and award a contract for municipal enforcement software and implementation for an amount not to exceed $266,800. Council Memo 300-18, award a contract for the Juniper Street, Richmond Street roadway project to PT Farrow Construction Company in the amount of $443,319.80. Council Memo 301-18, purchase pavilion materials from Park Recreation, Inc. in the amount of $48,875 for the Joliet Route 66 baseball stadium. Council Memo 302-18, award a contract for the 2018 sewer route control program to Duke's Route Control, Inc. in the amount of $99,085.50. Council Memo 303-18, amend the 2018 budget to purchase a Ford utility all-wheel drive interceptor for fire department from Rod Baker Ford for $32,395. Council Memo 304-18, award a contract for healthcare and workers' compensation consulting services with Gallagher Benefit Services for $76,000 for 1 year of healthcare consulting services, and award a bid for an amount of $109,500 for 3 years of workers' compensation insurance program consulting services with Gallagher Bassett Services. Council Memo 305-18, amend the 2018 budget and purchase a Ford Transit cargo van for the operating engineers from Rod Baker Ford for $26,882. And Council Memo 306-18, amend the 2018 budget to purchase one E1 Typhoon fire engineer for the fire department from Fire Services Incorporated for $586,429. It's recommended Council Memos 299-18 through 306-18 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Councilman
Oh,
Morris.
I'm sorry. Councilman Morris.
I'm sorry. Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye, for me, that's fine.
Threw me off. Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 308-18, approved change order number 2 and final for the 2017-2018 snow removal for the downtown city center area and the commuter lot area in the amount of $11,696 to George's Landscaping, Inc. Council Memo 309-18, approved change order number 1 in the amount of negative $587,744.89, and payment request number 6 and final in the amount of $237,561.51 for the Glenwood Avenue water main improvements to Austin Tyler Construction. Council Memo 310-18, approved claims reconciliation true-up in the amount of $55,278. Council Memo 311-18, approved change order number 1 in the amount of $7,000 and payout request number 2 and final in the amount of $51,177.25 to Alliance Demolition Service, Inc. for the demolition of 121 North Chicago Street. And Council Memo 312-18, approved change order number 1 in the amount of $7,480 to Lindblad Construction Company of Joliet, Inc. for the closure of the pedestrian walkway at 110 North Ottawa Street as part of the demolition of 121 North Chicago Street. It's recommended Council Memos 308-18 through 312-18 be approved.
So moved.
Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Just briefly pointing out, I'm just actually really excited about it, that on Council Number 309-18 on the Glenwood Avenue water main, which is in Allison's department, you know, oftentimes people come in here and it's great when our staff, they do a good job oftentimes of coming in under the budget. Came in almost $600,000 under the bidded budget. Good job to your department, Allison, on doing that, and I vote aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Motion carried. Moving back under ordinances to Council Memo 291-18, which is regarding ordinances regarding 701 Plainfield Road. This includes an ordinance approving or a resolution denying a variation of use to allow a B3 use in a B1 district and an ordinance approving or a resolution denying a special use permit to allow an auto, tire, and repair facility in an existing building located at 701 Plainfield Road.
And I have moved to deny it under recommendation of the zoning board, who voted 5-2 not to pass it. And Kendall Jackson has some new information about staff's not accepting this as well.
Mr. Nance is gonna address the council.
No, but I just wanted to get that out there.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, members of the City Council, Mike Hanson here on behalf of the applicant. Here with my partner, Dick Kavanaugh, Mr. Gutierrez, and Mrs. Gutierrez. I apologize for not being here last evening. I was out of town, but I know there were some questions from the council on some matters which I wish to address here today. And then I understand you certainly can hear Mr. Jackson's report. Three specific matters we want to address that were questioned last night. Number one is we will be asking that the city close the two entrances on Wilcox Street so that the only entrance will be off Plainfield Road. We know that will help the neighborhood. So the entrance will only be off Route 30. Number two is that all the work will be done behind the doors, and we'll ask that be put into the special use permit so the doors will be closed whenever the work is being done. And number three, that we'll have 5 parking spaces, including 1 handicap space on the property. That will be drawn by a professional engineer approved by the city staff to ensure then adequate parking. That should also ensure that there will not be any parking on Wilcox Street by any employees or customers, invitees, et cetera, in the neighborhood. So I believe those were the 3 major questions that were addressed, or council questions last night. If the council has any other additional questions, we'd ask that they be included in the council. If we are requesting, obviously, approval of both matters this evening, we ask that they be included in the special use permit and the motions as well.
Any questions?
It's still only 45 feet away from the next door home, and our ordinance requires 100 feet because of the noise. Would you want that 45 feet next door to your house?
Well, the fact of the matter is this use in this particular property has been in use since forever, exactly. And I think that—
Well, that doesn't mean we can't change it. It doesn't have to be that way forever. If we kept everything forever, nothing would change.
It is a silent use in the fact that we are closing our garage doors, and all we're doing is changing tires. That's it. Rotating tires, changing tires. It's not a car repair shop. It's not an auto body shop. It's not some of those other uses that come before the council before. I believe that the noise is not going to be a factor.
Councilman Hugg, you mentioned last night about the hydraulic.
Right, and that's why they're going to be required to work with the doors closed. That will kill the sound. You know, I look at that parcel, and I made 2 of the requests that you addressed, Mr. Kavanaugh. You know, the city is kind of like the council. There's some old people up here and some young people. So the city has old sections and new sections. These old sections, we're going to come across situations like this. And what you have here, if you came before me and it was a vacant property that had been vacant for 100 years and you wanted to do it now, I'd say absolutely not. It's vacant. We have a building that's vacant, and so either it stays vacant or somebody who owns it, which currently would be Mr. Gutierrez, has already bought it and is going to tear it down. I mean, none of that makes sense. We have tough decisions like this. I do want to thank Mr. Gutierrez because he said no to nothing that we've asked him to do. And I'm comfortable, Councilwoman, that, you know, it'll be enforced by the city, that he will have the doors closed when he's working and using, whether it's the electric or the hydraulic, you know, when he's doing his work. And they have pretty much eliminated the opportunity for people to go into the neighborhood from the business by agreeing to close the second residential entrance. So I'm comfortable with that. Is it a perfect situation? It's in an older section of town, and we have to address it in a common sense way.
Kendall, do you have to add to this?
Yes, I do, Mayor and members of the council. We were contacted a little earlier today by the attorney for the petitioner with a new proposal that will close off the second driveway on the back side of the property. Given that information, I was shown a sketch plan shortly before the meeting started. No dimensions, not quite sure how we would get the additional parking space in there without actually seeing dimensions on the plan. The closure of the second driveway, we discussed it at the staff level as well as with our traffic engineer. And we didn't really see that adding to anything that would change our position, supporting the zoning board's desire to deny this. It doesn't really add anything to the property. The fifth parking space, if you will, again, that's something that we haven't seen proved up on an engineered plan. It could push parking out onto the public street on the backside. It would create probably some additional parking on the backside, which could be a disadvantage for the neighborhood if the patrons and even some of the cars from this business are being parked on the public street. We did have a similar situation further to the north on Plainfield Road, where it probably took staff and council over a year to resolve a situation where we had access onto an interior neighborhood street from a business that was repairing cars. And I think the concern there for the neighborhood was cut-through traffic. Oftentimes, cars are being towed to the site through the neighborhood, which kind of changes the character of the neighborhood there. So that's staff's comment on the recent proposal to cut off that second driveway.
I think we can answer those questions real simply, members of the council, and that is, if we do cut off the access by the closing of any entrances to Wilcox Street, which we've done in the past in other similar situations, then there isn't going to be the traffic on Wilcox Street. There isn't going to be the parking. And then by putting 5 parking spaces on our property, when it is, and having an engineer then make sure that they're done correctly, properly, approved by city staff, I think we're going to ensure that there's not going to be the parking on Wilcox Street. This is a type of business where when you go there, you're going to be getting your tires changed, okay? And generally speaking, not in every instance, you're going to be bringing your car to the location, going into the shop, reading a magazine or whatever while you wait the 15, 20 minutes to have your tires rotated or changed, generally speaking. So it's going to be by appointment only. People aren't going to be coming in and out. I think it's going to be proved by closing off Wilcox Street. We're going to answer any issues that the neighbors will have since it is on Route 30, which is a major business thoroughfare.
Any other questions or comments? I think there's a motion pending.
Yes.
There's a motion to deny, which would be approving 2 resolutions denying the variation of use and the special use permit.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded to adopt 2 resolutions. One resolution denying a variation of use to allow the B3 use in a B1 district, and the second is a resolution denying a special use permit, allowing an auto tire and repair facility in an existing building located at 7101 Plainfield Road. Councilman Hug?
No.
Councilman Morris?
No.
Councilman Mudrin?
I think everyone knows we have a fire station on that corner also, and the sound from the sirens of the fire station are gonna be much louder than any work that's gonna be done in the facility. I did go check his facility out in Crest Hill up Plainfield Road, and everything that was said in the report on how he was kept and doors closed and the like, I did notice at the time I was there without calling for an appointment. I vote no.
Councilwoman Coleman?
I voted on my statements I made earlier and to support not only the zoning board, but staff.
Councilman Turk?
When this came before us last time, I was not intending to support the project. However, I think enough safeguards were built into this to improve the property, and therefore I vote no.
Councilman Dickinson?
I'm going with staff's recommendation and say aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
No.
Councilman Girl?
No.
Motion failed. 2 ayes, 6 noes.
Now we'd request a motion in favor of our proposal.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is a motion to approve with the conditions that were discussed this evening?
Yes. Yes.
So it's been motioned and seconded to approve an ordinance approving a variation of use to allow a B3 use in a B1 district, and an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow an auto tire and repair facility in an existing building located at 701 Plainfield Road with the following conditions. Only one entrance, which will be located on Route 30. All work will be behind closed garage doors and 5 parking spaces.
I think those would be in addition to the other proposed conditions that are already set forth in the special use permit, correct?
Mr. Mayor, if I could, staff would like to add a condition that an engineered site plan be submitted by the petitioner prior to the issuance of any building permits.
I'll include that in my motion.
So along with the conditions that were originally stated in the proposal and the ones that I mentioned before, adding an engineer site plan as well.
Question.
Yes.
Would that be pending the approval of staff then, before we would go forward with that?
Well, you've made the motion. Do you want staff approval first, or do you want to vote on it tonight?
No, I say we vote on it tonight. I mean, staff's obviously gonna.
No, I meant, no. I didn't make myself clear. They won't get anything until staff sees it and approves it. If staff doesn't approve it, then where do we go from there? That's my question.
I think
They can't open. They can't open, they have to work it out. I think
We
what
will
have
get
here-
the staff approval, fine. We will, it's subject to staff approval, fine.
If I'm hearing correctly, I think Kendall said they don't see the 5 yet, they haven't seen a site plan. They're not saying it's impossible to do, but they're just not going on a limb to say that it's gonna happen. They wanna see it from their engineer, right?
The reason we need an engineer to do it is we need to know if in fact you'll have 5 legitimate parking spaces there. And we just couldn't get that done before tonight's meeting,
So what if you don't have 5 available when the engineer gets done?
We'll work it out with the staff. I mean, there can only be so much parking on that site, so.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Mudrin?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
No.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilman Dickinson?
No.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
You know, I just wanted to confirm, Pauline, there was a second on the motion?
Yes, there was, it
Okay.
was,
Mr. Mudrin.
and then Mudrin.
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that. So motion carried 6-2.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have the city manager's report.
Thank you. Mayor and council, we've all heard that the General Assembly approved a state budget for fiscal year 2019. I'd like to ask Jim Gadati to come up for just a few minutes. We've talked in the past about how not only last year's budget had its negative financial impact on the city. I'm just asking our finance director to take just a few minutes about what this new budget, if signed and goes into law, just a quick update on the negative impact or a combination of positive, negative that'll have on the city of Joliet briefly. And then we'll submit to you more information in writing in the future as all the information becomes clear. Mr. Gadati.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Late last week, the state legislature passed a budget. The governor has indicated that he will sign it. As of today, he has not signed it yet. There are 3 areas that will affect cities, municipalities, and the city of Joliet. The first item is the reduction of the local distributive fund. The state collects income taxes and distributes it to the cities based on population. If you remember last year, they cut that distribution 10%. The new legislation says they're gonna cut it 5%. And that's not an additional 5%, it will be 5%. What that means to us is let's say the LGDF distribution for the last 6 months, they took $600,000 of our money. If it's the same revenue this year, they will cut that by only taking $300,000. Of course, that's all based on the total collections. So far this year, in 4 months, they've already taken 640,000. So the savings could be greater if the income tax money comes in greater than the last 6 months of last year. The second item that will affect the cities is businesses collect the local sales tax. Our sales tax is 1.75%. Before last year, there was no fee. Starting in July of 2017, they put a 2% fee on. So they took $260,000 of our money, seeing that our sales tax would be the same as last year. That would be $130,000 that they would take rather than the 260. So far this year, in the 3 months, they've already taken 130,000. So we're trending about what we did last year, about the 260,000. The final item is what's called the corporate replacement tax. Corporations pay a 2% tax on their income. It goes into a fund. The state distributes that based on how we tax people back in 1976. They diverted about $300,000 of that this year, and that's about what they did last year. So I don't anticipate that there will be a change in that revenue, but they continue to divert that money from our fund. I would encourage all legislatures, especially at the municipal level, to tell the state, please quit taking our money. We need to, put police on the street. We need a fire department. All those diversions are affecting our revenue and our ability to fund services in this city. That's the quickest recap I can give you. I'll be happy to address any questions that you may have.
I have one question, Jim. Because I've read different things and I've actually talked to some of our legislators. As far as you can tell, is this a balanced budget? And if not, how far out of whack is it? Your estimation?
With the state?
Yes.
The state is a balanced budget on operations. However, they had not addressed the billions of dollars they have in a backlog of bills they still need to pay. So for operations on a day-to-day basis is a balanced budget, but they're not addressing what they did in the past to get rid of their billions of dollars of what they haven't paid up to now.
Does that include debt service? Are they addressing that in this budget?
They're including their current debt service, but as far as I can tell, they've kept their debt service up and have paid that, so.
Mayor? Yes. And doesn't it, I don't know if it goes towards operations then or not, isn't it based on the sale of the Thompson Center, I think it is? The state, there's $300 million in that budget that is supposed to come from the sale, which hasn't been sold yet, and from buyouts for people that once worked for the state and have since left, are vested, and they can buy out for 60 cents on the dollar and take their money out of the IMRF and then go invest it somewhere. If that doesn't happen, there'll be a bigger hole, right?
Correct.
And they could be coming back for more.
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? I just would like to add that I think this is a critical year between now and as this council considers our 2019 budget, that we do invite our local legislators that represent any portion of the city of Joliet, to invite them to a future workshop between now and late in the year for further discussion of how this is kind of, as Mr. Gennady has said, a continual attempt to look at removing local revenue that is pledged to the cities and utilizing that to help solve some of the financial woes at the state level. And I think we need to share with them how that is going to continue to hurt us and some of the challenges we have to face, but we can't pass it on to anyone. We have to address it at the local level and have a true balanced budget. So I'll have more information to report on how we can even engage them, maybe even here in the council chamber sometime in a work session, so that we can just address City of Joliet vis-a-vis the state action that's having a very negative impact on us. Who knows what it could be next year and the year after that too. So that's all I had on that one, unless you have any other questions.
No, thank you.
Let me, I do, the next item, I'd like to ask Allison Swisher, our interim Public Utilities Director, to come forward. You have in front of you, and it is being distributed, the 2017 Joliet Drinking Water Quality Report. I've asked Allison to just take a minute and to share some information on the monitoring requirements not met. As part of this report, I think there's a great explanation to this. Many cities got caught with a similar situation. Could you just briefly mention how we explained these monitoring violations and maybe some explanation how we're going to avoid those in the future?
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. As Mr. Hales mentioned, we have the water quality report that has been distributed. This is due every year annually in June, and it is currently available on the city's website. Also throughout the month, we'll be distributing it in various ways in the summer newsletter, as well as on Facebook, and hard copies are available at our office as well. As David mentioned, there are, in this report, there are information about monitoring violations that were reported in 2017. First and foremost, I want to say that the water that we are producing and distributing does meet all water quality standards. So the violations that are identified in the report are limited to monitoring violations and not water quality violations. There were two incidents that are discussed in here that I would like to clarify. The first one is a requirement to do lead and copper sampling. We are required to, every 3 years, conduct sampling at 50 locations. These locations are voluntary homeowner participation. So last year in 2017, when we distributed the sampling bottles, each homeowner who is a qualified participant, they have to fill the bottle and then we pick it up. What happened was, following the lead issue in Flint, a number of the participants decided that they no longer wanted to conduct the sampling. So with no time to find replacements, we did not meet the requirement to have 50 samples taken. We did have 20 taken, and all of those did meet the limits that are mandated to meet. For this year, we are going to be doing the sampling. We made a lot of efforts to encourage new participants. We currently have 65 homes that we are going to present to the EPA to be on this list, and then we will conduct the sampling this summer in July, and we're confident that we will meet the 50 sampling locations that are required. The other item that was did not meet the monitoring requirements was requirement for radium and nitrate sampling at all of our water treatment plants. We have 11 water treatment plants. One was out of service at the time the sampling was conducted due to a water main replacement project that was had some unforeseen issues. So the water sampling was not conducted at that treatment plant. As soon as the plant was back in service, we did conduct the sampling, and it did meet all of the requirements. So we are confident that the water we're producing does meet water quality standards, and these monitoring violations we will have rectified in 2018.
Any questions of the council? We just wanted to make you aware of that, and especially with the news article today on that portion. But I think it was a very comprehensive water quality report, and as in some discussions we had today going forward, one thing we will be looking to do is exceed even some of these minimum requirements like samples to avoid this in the future. So instead of 50, we're gearing up for 75 or 100 or more, so that we have some cushion room if something comes up. But my compliments to Allison and Nick Gornick, who prepared this report and helped got that out as required by federal law.
Thank you.
Third item, just want to mention, I've shared with you today some public documents related to the news, disturbing news on Innovation Pavilion out of Colorado, and how the CEO has stepped down. Just want to report to you that we have had a telephone call with a number of members of the Innovation Pavilion staff. We have asked them for some detailed information on how that could impact the financial ability of Innovation Pavilion to continue with their scope of work that was a part of an agreement about a year ago. We have asked the interim CEO to come to Joliet to have further discussion of that. But my main point is to share with you too that in a recent conversation, I did share with the Innovation Pavilion staff that so far, since I've been here in 6 months, I just continue to see a lack of progress in some of their work plan, and a lack of what I'm hearing is they still haven't, as they've tried to do or pledged to do, is get community stakeholders on board. And I raise that with you because we're almost 1 year into kind of a 3-year plan. We have heard of who might be the developer partner, but we haven't seen anything concrete, things of that nature. So anyway, I did share with them that in their upcoming visit, we would like to have some discussion on some of those concerns, the lack of progress, the lack of any kind of a local manager or agent for Innovation Pavilion here in the city of Joliet after a full year of work, and to then come back to the council and give you more of a comprehensive report of what that may say about their the commitments we heard and what how that could play out and impact the next couple of years. So I just wanted you to know that we're doing our due diligence to hold them accountable to what they promised, and also how is this recent news their CEO going to impact all their commitments to us. If I can, I just want to have Jim Trisna, the Public Works Director, to take a few minutes. We are having some very needed major work in the replacement, I think, of the north elevator of this building. Would you just apprise the council of how this will impact our next meeting and other agencies meeting in here over the next 30 days?
Yeah, the north elevator of City Hall, at right outside the doors here. It needs to have some overhaul and repairs, basically on the electronic system and the computer system that runs the elevator. We need a 3-week window. We awarded this contract, I think, a couple months ago. We've got our contractor is Anderson Elevator, and they've got all the parts and materials now. So we looked for a 3-week window. Mike Hewlett's worked very closely with the bankruptcy court to make sure we could make work around their schedule. We could make this fit in with them. And essentially, we're going to close the elevator on June 25th, which is a Monday, and will be closed through Friday, July 13th. So it'll impact, for starters, as far as the city council, 1 meeting, the July 2nd, July 3rd pre-council council meeting. Those are going to be moved to the Bicentennial Park across the river. Mike, we obviously have Bicentennial Park under our area also, and we were able to secure that for the pre-council and council meeting. As a side note to that, I think I don't know if there's been discussion now. We want to confirm though, July 2nd is obviously a Monday, July 3rd, the day before Independence Day holiday. We're not sure if there was some discussion of combining that meeting maybe on July 2nd, so the 3rd would be off. That's up to you folks. But we'll need to know just so we can have the Park prepared for 2 nights or 1 night, whatever it may be. Obviously, there's typically a lot of events on July 3rd also, fireworks and festivals going on in the Park, so we'll just need to know that. But anyway, as far as bankruptcy court, Mike worked it out with them where they're not going to have bankruptcy court 2 Fridays, July 29th and June 29th and July 6th. And if need be, they would relocate to Chicago for the July 13th, the day that at the end of the day we're hoping to get the elevator operational again. So that's kind of a status. We can still have committee meetings, potentially, if it's not real large, we could have them in one of the 2 or a couple of conference rooms on the first floor. We could use the planning conference room if it's available. Like I'm thinking like public service for our group, for example, we could probably work that on at the planning commission, the planning conference room while this is down, because obviously we would not be ADA accessible. You can still use the stairs, but we've got to make sure all our meetings are ADA accessible. So that's our situation. Like I say, we'll have one more meeting here 2 weeks from tonight. What's that, the 19th of June we'll be here still. But then the next one, that first meeting cycle in July, will be at the Bicentennial Park.
Are they doing their fireworks on July 3rd? Do we know?
I want to double check on that, Mayor. I believe the downtown fireworks are on July 3rd. I can confirm that and get email to David and yourself. But we usually have fireworks on July 3rd downtown. Obviously, Independence Day itself, we're always at the Gillette Memorial Stadium. That's still on, I know.
In 2 weeks, we'll come back with final recommendations and action by the council to move the meeting, and also, but we wanted to give you a heads up tonight. Appreciate the collaboration, coordination that our staff is taking with these other entities, but thought it'd be appropriate to give you a heads up on that. And then last, you'll see this, but we just got a recent notice, I think today or yesterday, from Jim Trisna on Wednesday, June 27th, from 4 to 7 p.m., and we'll send this out to you, but wanted to give an advance notice. There will be an open house at the Joliet Junior College Event Center on the Hobart, Hollywood, and Center Point project. Now again, both entities will be there, the city of Joliet, to talk about our portion of that project in an open house fashion from I-80 down to
US 6.
US 6. And representatives of Center Point will also be there to talk about the new proposed bridge over the Des Plaines. But this just came out that this particular date, place, and time came out. So again, just please put that on your calendars. Wednesday, June 27th, 4 to 7 p.m., Joliet Junior College.
And if I could just add, it'll be the standard open house format. You don't need to be there 4 to 7. Obviously, staff, our members, myself and some of my staff will be there. Our consultant, Trans Systems, our project manager, T.Y. Lynn, there'll be state officials there, obviously, Center Point folks. But I think you want to stop in and sometime in that time frame between 4 and 7, you can work it in your schedules. That's a Wednesday night.
That's all I have to report tonight, unless there's any other questions of the council on any of these items here this evening. If not, I'll turn time back to City Clerk.
Next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
Oh. I have one item. Chief, unfortunately, as the year went on, the school year, school safety became a bigger issue in our country. And I heard I got a lot of feedback from people or questions about what we do here in Joliet. Now, I know there was an incident, luckily a false alarm at Central last year, and I know you reported to the council about the police response. Do you think in the next, you don't have to do this tonight, obviously, but in the next couple meetings, there could be some type of comprehensive report presented to the council about what we do to keep our students safe here in Joliet? And possibly, if we can look at what it would take to put Joliet police officers in every school in the city, including parochial schools. I know there's a logistics question, there's a cost question, and probably we would have to look to partner up with the school districts. But I'd like to, we have a few months here in the summer, maybe if we could take a look at this and see if there's something more that we can do than what we've done so far. At least something that can be presented to the city council where we can make choices moving forward on that. I would appreciate it.
Sure.
Right. Thank you.
Next is public comments. First is Bob Pilato.
Mayor, thank you for that segue here. Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. I'm here to talk about the Joliet Police Department's Citizens Police Academy. These two gentlemen, the one on my left, Wes Russell and Bob Larson, joined me in my class. I'm told we were class number 32 and that about 500 citizens have gone through this program since 1987. This program is part of the community policing effort to inform the community of what the police department does on a daily basis. The program seeks students of a diverse background, community leaders, citizens looking to get involved, young and obviously older. We began classes on Tuesday evening, February 27th. Majority of classes were held right across the street at the Joliet Police Department. Our first class was an introduction and overview of the police department presented by Sergeant Robert Hall, our class instructor, and the training sergeant for the Joliet Police Department, and Joliet Chief of Police Brian Benton. That evening, we toured the police department and we saw things like the 911 call center, the command center, initial intake and fingerprinting areas, and evidence and storage rooms. We also saw the wall of memorial plaques honoring those officers that have given their lives in the line of duty. The remaining on-site classes included presentations concerning use of force, internal affairs, community policing, an overview of the criminal justice system presented by Judge Fred Harvey, the use of tasers, recruiting and training, crime prevention, gang intelligence, investigation, tactical and narcotics, evidence, and traffic stops. We experienced simulation classes and use of force in traffic stops, very interesting. Saw a number of interesting videos during various presentations. We could volunteer to be tasered, which many of my younger classmates volunteered for. We did not. We passed. I was afraid to sign the waiver myself. We took 2 field trips. We visited the Joliet Police Department SWAT facility at the west location. That was extremely interesting. And we visited the Will County Morgue and heard from our county coroner, Pat O'Neill. We had 12 3-hour sessions in all, culminating with our graduation on Tuesday, May 22nd. Chief Benton and Sergeant Hall presented each of us with a Citizens Police Academy t-shirt, a certificate suitable for framing, and all the Semino's pizza we could eat. If you volunteered to be tasered, you also received a certificate as well. In today's social media-based world, I find the far majority of news reports related to police activities to be overwhelmingly negative. I came away from this class with a different perspective and a deeper appreciation of what it means to serve as a Joliet police officer, how the Joliet Police Department conducts and holds itself to a higher standard in terms of policing policies and personal and professional accountability. My purpose in speaking with you tonight is one of awareness. I would like to make the citizens of Joliet aware of this academy and encourage people to sign up for it. There is more information available on the Joliet Police Department's website, and I know that they put articles in the Herald News, and perhaps you can put it in the summer newsletter or the fall newsletter. It is conducted during the winter months. I especially want to recognize Sergeant Hall for his efforts and time away from his family on Tuesday evenings. He obviously was there all 12 weeks with us. And I want to recognize Chief Brian Benton for continuing to carry on this program through his leadership of the Joliet Police Department. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one thing, Bob, did you bring your certificate so we know you actually did graduate? We're supposed to take your word?
You're supposed to take my word. I was going to wear the t-shirt, but I don't want to scare everybody.
Were you valedictorian of the class also or not?
No, I was way down the line.
Next, we have representatives of the stagehands.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Lauren Lynch. I'm the business agent for Stagehands Local 124. Standing next to me is Ed Rachel. He is the president of Stagehands Local 124. Just as a little recap, we are the second oldest stagehand local in the state of Illinois. Chicago is #1. We've been chartered in 1905, and we have a history with the Rialto Theater for over 92 years. The reason we are here is we wanted to take a moment to thank the City Council for their past support. Now, fast forward to today. We also wanted to thank the Mayor, Councilman Dickinson, and Chris Regis for their support in helping us with the upcoming Rock the Block 3-day event. We've been in contact with the production manager and the production team, and we are working out all the details. So we just wanted to come and say thank you for all of your help.
Thank you.
I just want to say that you guys have been great to us all the time, and we're getting better. But I don't want to leave out the rest of the city. Our police, fire, public works is tremendous. And all working together, I just think things are going to get greater here. And they just keep improving. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks. Is there anyone else that would like to speak under public comments? This is mayor and council comments.
Yes, just one thing. I know every weekend we have a lot of action and a lot of activity going on in the city of Joliet, and it's all real positive. And we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend as well, but one of my favorite things that's going on is the IHSA State Baseball Tournament. And it starts on Friday. The semifinals are at 10 a.m. and the championship games begin on Saturday. And I'll tell you, if you're a baseball fan, even if you're not a baseball fan, you know, the IHSA has been played here for, Krista, quite some time. I'm putting you on the spot. 6 years, has it been?
More than that.
More than 8 years? Yeah. And Krista does an actually marvelous job coordinating, you know, with the IHSA. And it's a lot of fun, and I guarantee you, if you come out and watch some baseball, you will see some future professional baseball players on the field. And there's a surprise that we're going to have for them all. Mayor, they're going to be playing for the first time on our turf, and so there shouldn't be any excuses of bad ops. But if you get the time, come out. It starts on Friday, and it finishes up on Saturday with the championship games. And again, we have the Class 3A and 4A, which are the large schools, so you're going to see some awesome baseball if you come out. Those are my comments.
Councilman Girl took all my time. No, I got nothing.
Three things, of course. First of all, with this hot weather and the cool weather today, it's very, very hot in the car. Please leave your children at home and your dogs. Even on a day like today, it was cool outside with the sun beating down. It was very hot in the car. And I know you love your kids and you love your animals, so please leave them at home where it's safe. Second of all, that will lead into this weekend on June 9th, Saturday. Pause on 66. It's an event downtown Joliet from 11 to 3. There'll be food vendors there and many, many animals to adopt. And you can also bring your pet if it's on a leash. And we would appreciate it if you could give a new pet a home. And also, and the MC for that for that day will be the Will County State's Attorney, Jim Glasgow. He will be also there today or tomorrow. And the other thing is, our very own Mike Ulitz is going to be a star for a short couple weekends, and he will be playing Jacob in the very famous play, Joseph and the Amazing Colored Dreamcoat, and that will be at Bicentennial Park on the weekend of June 15th and 16th, and the following weekend, the 22nd and 23rd. So if you want to have some fun, come on down Saturday, adopt a pet, and then the following weekend, go see our very own Mike Ulitz, plus another bunch of amateur actors. But when you really go to this Bicentennial Park, these people really, really work hard, and they do put on a very good show. So thank you, that's all I have. Stay safe and be well.
I just want to extend my condolences to the family of Ben Marino, who passed away this past week. Worked many years over the courthouse as an interpreter, and for the family of police officer Joe Troja, who also passed away Saturday night. So.
Thank you. Well, I got a number of things. I'm going to really try to condense it. Number one, Friday is New Orleans North downtown, which is a great event. So after you see the ball game, you can come over to New Orleans North and have a nightcap. Tomorrow at 10:30, we're having a major ribbon cutting at the train station. 10:30, correct, Jim?
10 o'clock.
Oh, I'm not seeing it, so I hope I'm on time. 10 o'clock, we're going to have a number of dignitaries here, including Governor Rounders coming to town, so it should be a great day tomorrow. Thank you to Lisa, Dorothy, and staff for all the hard work, the years of hard work they put in to get that done. We had 2 ribbon cuttings this last couple of weeks, one at 76 North Chicago. It's amazing boutique. Congratulations to Diane Harris. There was a ribbon cutting today at Daybreak Center for the new Adult Education Center. Thank you, Daybreak Center, and all the people who volunteered there. On Memorial Day, I want to thank the Joliet Fire Department Honor Guard for their Memorial Day service that they had at St. John's Church. On May 23rd, the Joliet Police Department had their award ceremony at Jacob Henry Mansion. Thank you, Chief Benton, and to all the officers who got awards. Congratulations. Harris celebrated on May 22nd their 25th anniversary here in Joliet. It was a great night. Councilman Dickinson, I know you were there. I think the number was 700. They have 700 employees that began 25 years ago that are still working there. Is that correct?
Was it? I thought 700 was kind of high.
Or maybe a little bit. It was an incredible number of people.
It was pretty close.
Yeah, who've been here for the entire period. So thank you to Harris. They've obviously been a great contributor to our city. both in jobs and in tax revenue, and congratulations to them. And then finally, just to cut this short, Saturday at the stadium, Relay for Life by the American Cancer Society had a fundraiser. Great job to everyone involved and everyone who came out and donated their time or their money. There's a lot going on. We talked about this weekend, the weekend after that, the Rock the Block downtown. The Rialto has great shows coming. Bicentennial Park has events. The Park District has Taste of Joliet coming. So we're in that time of the year. There's a lot of things happening in our city. It's a fun time. It should be a great summer. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
The motion seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Meeting adjourned.
Stop that, girl. Stop that, girl.
I'll have to.
That's just girl. That's girl. It's girl.
Well, nice job, short and sweet. Short and sweet.
Bob, just say it. It's over. I've been wanting to go through that, Bob.